Good evening, students. Today we'll continue with the leftover part of the patient counseling. So we were discussing patients who require counseling and patients who should be counseled at regular intervals. So for patients requiring counseling, we discussed patients with impaired sight or hearing, right? Illiterate patients and new patients or those receiving medications for the first time. Then you have patients who are receiving medication on behalf of their children, and patients who are receiving medication in mechanized devices such as inhalers, rotohalers, okay, and medications with special storage requirements. So for all these cases the patients require counseling. Okay, then we have discussed patients who should be counseled at regular intervals. So I have told you patients who should be counseled at regular intervals, like in such cases where the disease is complicated and monitoring is required very frequently. For example, for your asthmatic patients, for your diabetic patients, for your epileptic patients. You know what is epilepsy? Epilepsy, it is nothing but a neurological disorder. In common language you can say it as fits or seizures. Okay, so it is your neurological disorders in which there is a loss of electrical activity. Okay, or the electrical activity gets increased, or you cannot just understand how the activity is going on. That may be a damage due to nerve, and that may result in seizures. Okay, so there are various kinds of epilepsy. So epilepsy is nothing but like a fit, so it is a neurological disorder. So patients, asthmatic patients, diabetic patients, patients misusing drugs, patients who are terminally ill, epileptic patients, patients with skin complaints, and patients who are taking 4 or more than 4 medications. For them you require counseling. Okay, so next we will discuss what are the stages of your patient counseling. Very important question. You can expect this for 10 marks also. Write about the stages involved in patient counseling. Okay, so we'll see what are the various stages, then we'll discuss in each stage what are the various steps. So first stage is your opening of the counseling session. The second stage will be your preparation for the session, and the third stage will be your counseling content, and the fourth stage will be your closing of the session. Okay, so counseling act, it is considered as an opportunity for the information exchange between the pharmacist and the patient. So a patient counseling, it is considered as a opportunity for information exchange. Okay, so here what you are doing, you are exchanging the information with the patient. So it is considered as an act of information exchange between the pharmacist and the patient, right? So pharmacist, he is an expert on drug therapy, and the patients, they will be experts on the daily routines. So here it is the duty of the pharmacist to make the patient understand about the illness, about the treatment, about the problems in taking the prescribed medicines. So these are all the important concerns during the counseling. Okay, so each of these points, they need to be assessed for an effective counseling. Okay, so next first we'll see in opening of the session. So opening of the session is, as the name indicating, you are opening the counseling session. So it is the pharmacist who should open the session, and before starting the session the pharmacist should be well versed in each of the language such as English, Hindi and Telugu, and he should be able to understand the common layman language of the patient. Okay, so when opening the session, the pharmacist will introduce himself. Okay, so the first point will be introduce yourself. Okay, so here it is important for the patient to know that they are speaking with the pharmacist. So that is why the pharmacist should introduce him properly. The patient must be reluctant to ask questions or express concerns with a salesman. So a pharmacist should greet the patient nicely in this session, and he should introduce himself, and he should say, hello, I'm so and so person, your pharmacist. May I help you? So this will create so when he is introducing himself properly, this will create a good beginning for the successful professional relationship. Okay, so this is with the first session. Next you have preparation for the session. So once the pharmacist has opened the session, like before proceeding with the session in detail, he should prepare some points, right? So for effective patient counseling, a pharmacist should update his medication knowledge. Okay, obviously the pharmacist will have some knowledge or more knowledge, but he should update the current knowledge, and whatever the medication the patients are taking, he should update his knowledge on that medication, and he should possess the required communication skills, right? As I've already told you, communication in the layman language with the patient is very important. So he should have the required communication skills, because here communication is plays a very important role. Then the pharmacist is expected to review the case record. Okay, so before starting with the session, he should review the case record of the patient, and he should analyze the drug therapy, what the drug therapy the prescriber has prescribed before counseling the session. Okay, so this is with the preparation for the session. Next, coming to your counseling content. And then first in counseling content there are 30 items, so it will take another class to discuss all that. So in counseling, first now let us discuss about what is counseling content. Okay, so the United States Pharmacopoeia and other healthcare institutions, the USP and other healthcare institutions worked on science and technology of patient counseling, and they have listed about 174 counseling items. They have listed about 174 counseling items. Out of them, they have finalized 30 counseling items that can be used based on the practicality. So out of these 174, these are not practical, right? So they have finalized 30 counseling items based on the practicality. So this will see, first today we'll discuss about the 10 counseling content points, and then remaining we can discuss in the next class. Okay, then the following patient counseling these items, they may be useful during the counseling process. Okay, and this list may help the pharmacist to use counseling items in various different situations. So the pharmacist, he will review all these points with the patient, and he will discuss each of these in detail with the patient. So your first point, introduce yourself. This has already done in introduce yourself, right? And one more point I wanted to tell you in the preparation for the session, that when the pharmacist should prepare mentally, that he should speak obediently he should speak obediently, and he should speak so confidently that the faith of the patient should be retained till the end of the counseling. Okay, so you can write this point in preparation of the session. The pharmacist should speak confidently, and he should speak obediently with the patient. He should speak in such a way that the faith of the patient or the trust of the patient is retained till the end of the session, and he should not speak any words which may shake the confidence of the patient. He should not speak any words which may shake the confidence of the patient. Okay, and he should not speak of the words such as substitution, like substitution the drug which the prescriber has prescribed with another drug. So he should not use the word substitute. Okay, so coming to the counseling content, here you can first just write introduce yourself. We have already discussed, so you can just mention before now he is actually discussing in the counseling process. So first you can write introduce yourself. Next, second point, the second counseling content, identify to whom you are speaking. Okay, so the pharmacist should identify to whom he is speaking. That means if you are talking to the patient directly, then you may give the desired information to the patient directly. But if you are speaking to the patient's representative, so you should be careful in providing the information. That is why, because that patient care representative will hand over the information, or will provide that information to the patient. So here that will become a third party communication. So here first you should identify to whom you are speaking, whether he is the patient or a patient care representative. Suppose he is the patient care representative, then what you can do, you can give him a written information leaflet, because he is going to give it to the patient. So he may forget some of the information which the pharmacist has told. So in this case, if you provide him with a written information leaflet, that will help him in noting down all the points which the pharmacist has discussed. Okay, so written information leaflet or patient information leaflet, PIL. Here written information leaflet must be provided by the pharmacist to the patient care representative. Okay, next, so that all the information can be directly communicated to the patient. Next content will be ask if the patient has time to know about their medicine. Ask if the patient has the time to know about the medicine. Means, see, for example, whenever we go out for shopping or whenever we go out for grocery purchasing or anything else, we think that if the store is in our way, then we purchase at that time only. So we may have time at that time or we may not have time. So it is the pharmacist's responsibility to inquire whether the patient is having the time to know about their medicine, because patients most of the time they will be busy in taking their medication and they will be having some fixed appointments or if they want to go home. So if the patient do not have the time to listen, the information which the pharmacist is providing, it will be ineffective. So the pharmacist should know whether the patient is having time, or he can ask the patient to come at a mutually convenient time. Mutually convenient time means it should be convenient for both the pharmacist and for both the patient. So you should first know whether the patient is having the time, and if he is having the time, you can proceed with the counseling. If he is not having the counseling, if he is not having the time for counseling, you can give him the written information leaflet, or you can fix a mutually convenient time. Okay, next content will be explain the purpose or importance of counseling session. So the next point in the counseling content will be explain the purpose or importance of counseling session. Before opening the counseling session, the pharmacist should tell them that they may know about the disease, medicines, diet and lifestyle modifications. Explain the purpose or importance of the counseling session. So before beginning the counseling session, the pharmacist should tell them that they may know about the disease, medicines, diet and lifestyle modifications. So it is the responsibility of the pharmacist to explain the patient regarding the disease, medicines, diet and any modifications if you want to do. And you can also ensure the patient that during the counseling session, whatever the pharmacist is trying to explain, and if they are having any doubt in that, they can clarify their doubts anytime. Okay, so you can explain the patient that the patient can clarify his doubt anytime if he has doubt in between the session or if he is not able to understand any point in between. Next, ask the patient what did the physician told about the disease and the medicines prescribed. So here it is nothing but you are asking the patient whether his doctor has informed something regarding the disease and medicine. So what it will help? This will help the pharmacist to assess the patient's knowledge and he can give the required information as per the patient's requirement. Okay, sometimes prescriber he will only give the required like you take with milk or the required additions which he should know. Do not take after meals or take before meals. So if the patient is knowing all this, then it can help the pharmacist in providing him the information as per his requirement. Okay, next, prior to providing the information, ask the patient if he or she has any concerns. If he or she has any concerns, that means often the patients will have some concerns but they will not speak out, right? Due to some issues or due to shyness, they may not speak out. So first you can tell them that if the patients are having any concern about the drug, for example, if they do not prefer solid dosage form and if they prefer liquid dosage form, so you should first ask the patient whether they are having any concerns about the drug they are about to take or the condition for which the doctor is treating them. Okay, so if you ask and address these important concerns, you can have a fair discussion with the patient. Okay, so prior to providing information, ask the patient if he or she has any concerns regarding the drug they are using and regarding the disease. So if you know this, then it will help you in having a fair discussion with the patient. Next, listen carefully and respond with appropriate empathy. Listen carefully means you have to listen carefully and patiently to the patient and you have to respond with appropriate empathy. Listening to patient is very important for an effective counseling session. Careful listening will give an opportunity for the pharmacist to understand the patient awareness about the disease. Okay, so when the pharmacist is listening carefully, that will provide an opportunity for the pharmacist to to understand the patient awareness about the disease and the medicines, and showing empathy to patients. Excuse me. Showing empathy to patients will improve the patient's confidence on the pharmacist. And what will happen? This will help in improving the patient attention towards the counseling. So the patient will give you more attention, and he will listen more carefully, and then he will understand more betterly, so which will lead to a better counseling process. Okay, next, tell the patient about the name, indication and route of administration of medication. So you have to tell the patient about the name, indication and route of administration of your medicine, because this is very important. Because for example, if the patient has been given a suppository or a pessary, so if the information, I know that information will be written in the patient information leaflet, but all the patients may not have the time to read that. So your suppository, in some cases they are packed like tablets only. So if they are suppositories, you cannot chew them, right? Sorry, chewing or taking pessary through oral route. So if you inform the patient that it is mentioned, it is required to be administered in your vagina, then he will have appropriate knowledge, right? So you have to tell the patient about the name, indication and the route of administration of the medication. And this is especially important in case of an emergency, and it is also important explaining about the route of administration. It prevents the patient to wrongly administer the medication. Okay, and if you tell them about the name of the medicine, it will help them to identify, because if they are taking 4 or 5 medicines, then they can easily identify it. Okay, so this is with the this point. Next, inform the patient about the dosage regimen. You know, dosage regimen is nothing but in a day how many tablets you should take, or in a month how many tablets you should take. So when the patient is appropriately informed of the dosage regimen, he'll be careful without missing the dose. So patient should be informed about the dosage regimen in order to reinforce what the doctor has instructed. And the dosage regimen should also be informed when the patient is taking the medicine for the first time. For example, if the instruction on the prescription is take 1 tablet after meals, so if you do not explain this, the patient may take 1 tablet after each meal. So he may take 3 tablets in a day, but if suppose the tablet is required to be taken only once a day, then that information regarding the dosage regimen should be explained to the patient. And in case of diabetics, you know, diabetic patients, they take meals more frequently but in small quantity. So if you give them information correctly, it will help the patients to stick to the instructions. Okay, so then next content, ask the patient if he or she has any problem in taking the medication as prescribed. That means this is an important question that is very rarely asked by a healthcare provider. Okay, because often the cost of the therapy, the non-availability of the medication, the regimen complexity and your medication adherence, they are your patient related problems. Patient related problems means regimen complexity. If they are taking 4 or 5, they will miss the dose. Non-availability, if they do not have at home, they will miss the dose. Medication adherences, if they are not adhering strictly, then they will miss the dose. So all these are patient related problems. Okay, so the complexity of the dosage regimen, it can greatly affect the patient compliance. Patient compliance, I have already told you. Suppose if a patient has to take 30 tablets in a month, and if he take 30 out of 30, then the compliance is 100%. So patient compliance is how many tablets doctor has prescribed and how many he has taken. So that is a patient compliance. Okay, so you should know if the patient is having any problem in taking the medication, then you can work with the physician to change the medication to a less complicated one. So if this is the problem, if the patient is having a problem, then you can consult with the prescriber and you can change the dosage regimen, or you can shift to a less complicated dosage regimen. So that will help in simplifying the problem for the patient. Okay, so this is with the 10 points we have discussed in counseling content. So remaining there are 20 points which we have to discuss in counseling content, and then the last will be closing of the session. So as I've told you, this is a very important question, write about the patient counseling and its stages. So if you have any doubts, please let me know, and I'll send you the material from Ramesh textbook. Thank you.